Today, I am so excited to share with you my Glam DIYs for my master closet. This first one might seem kind of, interesting. I had a large portrait printed after our wedding, kind of in keeping with an Italian tradition in my husband's family, and I didn't really think it was as well suited in our present home. So my plan was to put it in our master closet. And finally, I was able to have my husband agree to this. He was hesitant about my unorthodox placement for it, but I reminded him that if we don't have it on display somewhere, we're really not doing it any justice anyway, so we may as well hang it up somewhere. The custom frame seems to really suit the space as well because I don't know if you've ever been to Juicy Couture, but I will never, ever, ever forget when we were able to go there on vacation. We went to Beverly Hills and we were on Rodeo Drive, went into the Juicy store. I found incredible finds and I just really, really, really fell for the aesthetic. I loved the hodgepodge of different frames and incredibly elegant and classic pieces with more modern, edgy pieces. All different kinds of things, and kind of a DIY eclectic look, really. So I wanted to bring that into my space. That's how I was able to kind of marry these really classic frames that you'll see throughout the space with a lot of modern touches, a modern color palette. You get it. I still have access to these shelves, but I figured if there's any place to put a vanity portrait of yourself that is almost life-size, why not put it in one's closet? I switched all of his items from this stack over to a different stack of shelves. That way, I was the only one that loses the shelf space for daily use. I was really inspired by a lot of Parisian influences. When I was creating this, I already had a Parisian picture, 2 Eiffel Towers, and a few other things. I have mementos from my trip to Paris, so I just really thought it would be so fun to incorporate a beautiful part of the world that I would love to go back to at any time and would feel so special if I was transported there. During mandatory shutdown, I was spending a lot of time on this project, and so it was fun to have a space transport me. So here I am cutting down this wallpaper to size, wrapping this around the locker style plastic bins from Dollar Tree, and I was fortunate to be able to get white ones. Yes, in this clip you see me using hair scissors. Every once in a while you get in a pinch and you kind of just want to use what is right next to you so you don't lose momentum on a project. You know the feeling? Okay, speaking of wallpaper, do you see this peel and stick wallpaper? I got these at Target. I love the jungle print, and you're going to see that in my new bathroom in my basement, so stay tuned. It is super fun. This unique black and white pattern really reminds me of Dalmatians, so I found that to be extra fun too, but it really helps me kind of build on my Kate Spade-esque black and white, and then I have my pops of hot pink around the space, Parisian throwback, so it's really a combination of styles in order to make it my own style. Again, that Juicy Couture influence was really strong in the beginning there too. Mama's trying to make this. I'm making it nice and flat. I'm gonna do it too. You do? Okay. Okay, this is a fun one. Have you ever heard of Forever Roses? There are several brands on the market, but essentially they are roses that have undergone a special preservation process, and that allows them to retain their color, oftentimes their fragrance, and definitely their shape for 1 to 3 years, depending on the brand. Now, in my case, I waited too long. I really should have worked on this immediately when I got the flowers, or say the same day anyway. I waited a few days and then I started thinking, day after day, as the edges started getting a little bit brown, I thought, oh, it's too late. I bought this from Trader Joe's, no big deal as far as expense, but it was going to kind of go to waste based on the project intentions. And then I was like, you know what? when do you have a better time to practice than on materials that are kind of imperfect? So I went in and I trimmed off some of the dead pieces. I think this is a good option if you have roses on hand.
Can you help me too? Okay, thank you.
And you decide that you would like to preserve them. It's not too late if you wait a few days into the process. In my case, I'm not even sure if I had these in water. I definitely had not given them the flower food that they like. So anyway, shame on me. You can see my little helpers here, and I was telling them all about the flower drying silica gel. I did lots of research on this project as well, so I found this to be one of the top rated products for the job. By the way, if you're interested in this process, you should pop on the internet and find out more about it, because there are some fascinating documentaries out there on the sensationalized preservation of flowers, and these have been selling like hotcakes on Amazon in particular, but then on direct sites as well. So they are kind of pricey when you go to buy them for someone else. Okay, they are quite pricey, and they can get really, really expensive if you get a lot of flowers. I saw one batch of preserved flowers that were like more than $1,000. But that was a very, very large, bougie set of flowers. Anyway, this really was kind of therapeutic. It's kind of like playing with kinetic sand or something. The kids really liked it. And of course, we washed our hands super, super well afterwards. But then you see that I decided to try putting in the leaves. Now, here's where I made a mistake, and I want to point this out. So hopefully you didn't like pause the video and wait till all your supplies showed up from Amazon and then start diving in with me, because what I did here was I was slightly short of enough silica gel, and I decided that I wanted to space them out between two containers. Well, then I didn't have enough to cover everything and have all of the flowers properly spaced. So they were a bit close together, and then the other batch of flowers that I had set aside didn't have enough to coat the very top of them, so those leaves got a little crunchy. Moral of the story, make sure that you have your flowers completely covered in the silica gel, and take care to place them properly, because that is going to impact the effect. Considering these are my experiments in imperfection, I was okay with it. I thought it was a great lesson learned, and I moved forward. Here you see me adding a non-absorbent floral foam to the bottom so that I can place the flowers on top. I carefully placed them, taking consideration for the fact that petals can still fall off, and then when I was pleased with the results, I was good to go. So look at the intensity on these. You can see the brilliant color. They still have that velvety texture, and while they were not fragrant, they did not smell like dried roses. You can see a huge difference between using the preserved medium that I chose versus doing nothing. Here again is my finished product, so huge difference, right? Comparing the two. When there's a shadow, they definitely look darker, and yet what a color. All right, until next time, toodaloo!